Can you believe it? I've done 30 of these. So we're up to the big 30. Wow, like I remember when I turned 30, but let me tell you, the stats are going to be so much more exciting than that. So don't go away. So what's been going on? There's so much been happening, I must admit, and it's been absolutely crazy with all the different things like masterclass lessons. It's been just been steamrolling ahead. So many people have done them, and we're about to do another great big update, which will give a whole lot of functionality to keep you up to date with what's going on with it. If you haven't done any of the lessons on monetization, then I would encourage you to do so. So many people have completed every single one of them. They just sat there and watched every single one of them. I hate to sort of bring some bad news to you, but I'm going to release some more of them so you can take a look at them. And I'm really getting some steam up to be able to do one on domain sales, which would be great. So what else has been going on? Some other great things is my blog. I began to sort of take a look at my blog, and I'm looking at completely redoing it, and particularly give you much easier access to some of the earlier blogs. Like I've been doing this for over 10 years now, so you're gonna love some of the changes. I'll be moving away from, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be moving away from Joomla and WordPress and everything like that, and I'm gonna put it on a platform that I personally have developed. Yeah, it's just something a little bit different anyway. So that's the other thing. Park Logic's been going from strength to strength. Like it's just been, I must admit, we just doing one record number after another after another. So if you're thinking, gee, I really want to get the benefits of algorithmic switching, you're doing over $250 a month right now with your monetization revenue, then please reach out to us. We'd love to help you out and take that to the next level. And that's really what it's all about. So, without further ado, let's take a look at this week's stats and see what they're telling us. Okay then. Okay, so this week's stats. What's going? Monetization history update. It's the 12th of October, and here we go. So the first thing, graph we're looking at is normalized RPM and RPM, and comparing what's going on with them. And you'll see the RPM chart just there is in the red. It's actually going down. And we'll see shortly what's actually driving that. Normalized RPM is going up. Remember, normalized RPM is revenue divided by raw traffic times 1,000. Well, RPM is revenue divided by views times 1,000. They're actually two different numbers. Okay, so what's going on with EPC and CTR? That's earnings per click and click-through rate. I had some feedback from one of the viewers saying, Michael, can you please explain what these acronyms are? I do apologize for that. I'll do my best. If you're ever wondering, leave a comment and sort of say, hey, what does that particular term mean? And I'll answer you. Okay, so, and here's something interesting, and we can see it better, I think, on the 14-day average for EPC and CTR. And notice they're both beginning to trend down. Normally they counter each other, so as one goes up, the other one goes down, and so forth. And we had a breakaway back here that was in July, and it took us like a step function up. I think we're about to take a step function down. I don't know why that's the case. I think that's a really interesting one. Why it's actually doing that, particularly we're leading up to Christmas, so it seems a little bit odd that would be the case. But anyway, so volatility. Now, this big, huge spike here is the result of this one here. So we can almost ignore that, but that was from the previous week anyway. So if we take a look at this here, it's really been relatively flat this past week. There hasn't really been volatile that much. And we'll see what's going on in a second around that. So normalized RPM from the base, where 100% was at January #1. If you had all your domains where they are right now, where would that normalized RPM be? And it's right down there on the right-hand end, and that's at about 145 or there by 150%, roughly speaking. Which means you've actually got a 45% growth in your revenue compared to January 1. Now, if you think about this and look at your stocks and you said, I just got 45% growth in my stocks, unless you're one of the FANGs, you know, the Facebook and Amazon and so forth, and Google and everything, Netflix, then that's unlikely to have happened. So that's a pretty good result for domainers to get that sort of result. And you can see the effect of COVID and the waves and everything has happened. What I don't know is what's going to happen, obviously, leading up to Christmas. I'd like to hope that it's actually going to go up, and that this is only just a little correction. Can you see it's flattened off a bit? So let's take a look at this. So revenue is split between Google and direct advertising companies. And you can see who's winning more. Like Google right now is actually tailing off. And compared to the direct advertisers are actually coming back up, which is interesting. And the reason why I say it's interesting is that I wonder whether this is a leading indicator that things, from the advertiser perspective, are starting to get a bit brighter in the world, and they're coming back to the direct advertising networks. So the direct advertising networks have just decided that's enough's enough. We don't like this decline anymore. We're going to start to fight back against Google. Okay, this is the traffic split, and you can see from this point back here, which is in July, beginning of July, something happened which then the direct advertisers began to win more of the traffic. Now, this is distinct from more of the revenue. They're winning more of the traffic. Yeah, so that's an interesting thing, that they're getting that greater and more amount of traffic all the time. And right now it's sitting above 30%, which is good. So Google's getting like 70%. I wonder whether that is going to keep on going, because at one stage they're actually the other way around, where Google was only getting about I think it was like 50% or something like that, and direct advertising 50%. This is a year or so ago. But this is the interesting chart. This is the one which I pay attention to the most. And this is the normalized RPM for both Google in blue and direct advertisers in red. And you can see just here what's actually happened with Google, and it is definitely tapering off. I put a fifth order polynomial trend line on this just to get it fit so we can see what's going on. And you'll notice that as Google's going down, the direct advertisers are actually swinging upwards, which is always a good thing. It's something we should be happy about. Now, if we put those on the same chart, remember I had Google, I think, on the left axis and direct advertisers on the right axis. If we put them both on the direct advertising axis, it puts things in more perspective. The Google's not paying very much. Direct advertisers are paying a huge amount, but as COVID really began to bite, the direct advertising network struggled. Google came back as more of the small to medium businesses came online, but now things are beginning to separate out again. I'm going to be very interested to see whether Google falls off as Google wants to take more margin and the direct advertisers begin to reassert their position. Particularly as some of the market verticals like travel and loans and things like that come back on stream. Okay, so what's actually going overall? Like in my MBA, my strategic management lecturer said, I only care if the line's going up or going down. So this is a snapshot of the last 2 weeks. Google is going down. It's a straight line, a linear trend, and direct advertisers going up. If you remember, a couple of weeks ago, it was the flip, there was the reverse of that. So there has definitely been a change. So my strategic management lecturer would be very happy to see this chart. Is it going up or is it going down? Okay, so volatility. And you can see the direct advertisers in red were quite volatile, and they've peaked up again here, which is an expansion phase, that means. And Google it went into a contraction, and that's what we're seeing right now. And I also wonder whether some of the advertisers are keeping their powder dry for that whole sort of crazy month with Black Friday and all that sort of stuff, and maybe that's coming up. So we can only hope and dream. So that's volatility. So now this is percentage change in normalized RPM, and it is really ramped up as a percentage change for Google compared to direct advertisers. It's obviously languished. and actually contracted, in fact. So, and you can see that over the last couple of weeks, that's Google slipping back a little bit. All right, so don't forget, ParkLogic. Make sure you take a look at ParkLogic there. It's really worthwhile doing, and checking out what we can do. If you're doing $250 a month or more in revenue, take a look at it. My blog, michaelgilmore.com. If you're looking at this on YouTube, check out my YouTube channel as well. You can get a link to it on my blog. And I'd really encourage you to take a look at that. There's so much great material and data there. And also masterclasslessons.club, mcl.club, or masterclasslessons.com. It'll take you to the same spot. Don't be a stranger. Go to those places, leave comments, do some likes, subscribe to particularly the YouTube channel, and to keep up to date with everything I'm producing on a week-by-week basis. Anyway, that's it for this week's. Have a great day. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed that video and you find them really valuable for your business and helping you make better decisions. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or pass the video on to your friends. Anyway, thanks a lot for that. Have a great day. Bye.